Hi there, welcome to Real Life on the Homestead in Ontario. And I'm Marie. As you can tell, it's raining. The weirdest weather we've been having. We had a huge snowstorm, shut down roads, just terrible. Then the next day we get an ice storm, highways closed, people without power for days. We were very lucky we got through that unscathed. And last night, again, another ice storm. We were driving home from North Bay and it was slippery on the roads. I'm glad we got home safe, which we did. And then today it's raining. It's like 6 degrees. The reason I'm doing this video is by popular demand. I had shown just a little segment of how I'm doing maple syrup, and so many people said, please share with us what you do. We are not experts. We started doing our maple syrup, I'd say about 4 years ago, and we've been making a few batches just for our own use. But today's a perfect day to show you, when the temperatures get warmer, how the sap starts running. So let's get into the maple bush. On our property, we have tons of maple trees, but we only tap 30 trees. And the reason we only tap 30 trees is we don't sell this. We're doing it for our own use, our own home use. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But we tap our trees. We do 30. We find that that is a perfect number for maple syrup and maple sugar. When we get tired of it, because it gets to be a lot of work, we just don't make any more. But because it is warm, I think I'm going to show you how the sap runs. After a little bit of trial and error, we figured out that having stainless steel pails, and I got these at Princess Auto. They were having a sale, so I got 30 of them. And then I got these lids. I believe it was from Berry Hill in Ontario. And these just basically sit on our little spigot, and that has been tapped into the tree. We drill a hole, tap the spigot in, and then these lids just stay on. And the reason the lids stay on, number one, keeps the rain off, as well as dirt. And then that's sap. Let's see how it's just running so well. And Jamie comes by with the 5-gallon pails and just empties these little pails. And what we've done is we just drilled a hole, made a little hook there, and he empties these pails into the larger pails, and we take them up to the garage and have our fire going there. Like I said, we only tap 30 trees because we don't need any more than that. If we wanted to, we could put tubes instead of pails, run the tubes with gravity feed down to the bottom of the property and collect it there. But we don't need to get that complicated. This works really well for us. And the whole idea of the homestead is not to exhaust yourself, just make yourself self-sufficient. And this is how we do our maple syrup. To make it easier for us, we have a road on the property that we have from the beginning to the end of the property. So we've just tapped along the road. So this way we can bring the ATV with the pails and leave the ATV on the road and just empty the small pails into the large pail, and we're good. Now let me show you how much maple trees we could tap. Let me turn this around for you. These are all maple trees. And if we wanted to, we can tap them all. And because the property does go downhill, we could gravity feed from every tree to each other down to the bottom. But we don't find that necessary. We're not going to do this commercially. But this is our maple bush. We're ready to go and collect some more from the tree buckets. And we'll load up in these containers, and from these containers we keep topping this up, and this will be an all-day event.
Today we have helpers and they're helping collect the sap. And as you can see, we just take it from the small pails, pour it in the sap bucket to make it easier to transport over to the garage. It's a fun family event and you could do it over a weekend. We do it over a couple of weeks. It's a great time.
So we load up our burn barrel with our firewood, get it going, and then we maintain a nice hot fire. Just getting it going. So I'm leaving a little draft going on. And this is the sap we collected yesterday. So it is full of ice. And we start the boiling process. This will be an all-day adventure. When the sap gets down to a very low point, then I take it in the house, and that's when I start to monitor the temperature. Obviously, I can't show you how to make an evaporator since we've already made one, but I can walk you through it. Just get a steel drum. You can get them really cheap or even for free. Make sure that anything that was in it is burned well off before you're using it for any food sources. Now, what we're gonna do is there's a piece there where your chimney's gonna come out. The chimney pipe is not cheap. You don't need it double walled. Single wall is fine. We keep a little grate on top just for the purpose of making sure that nothing flies, no embers are flying out. Then you need some legs. We have one on the back and two on the front. You also need a door. And this is the door we're using. You bolt it into your barrel. You've got a latch here. As you can see, we've loaded it up really well. And it's really windy out, so I hope you can hear the video okay. And that is the normal spout that a barrel will have. That is our air intake. And we also put in a little cap to close it off if we need to. Then, a little bit of smoke in the face. We have a couple of handles that we just welded on, and that's for the purpose of moving it. You don't have to do that. These pans I got at a food supply place. You can get them on Amazon as well. And the idea is to cut a slot so that your pan fits comfortably, but as much of the pan is in the fire as possible. We originally did this on a wood stove, and because the heat was only coming from below, the sides were cooling off way too fast. So this way, it maintains a high heat, which helps it evaporate faster. And as you can see, we've only had this on about 20 minutes, and the temperature's already coming up on the sap. Now, all these parts that you add on to your barrel can be found on Amazon, and I will link the kit below for you so that you can make your own evaporator. No need to go spend $500 to $1,000 on an evaporator when you can make it very inexpensively. And I'll also link the trays that you need to buy. The deeper, the better. And wood stove pipe you can get at a local hardware store. So this is how simple it is to make a homemade evaporator. And like I said, can't show you how to do it step by step because we've already made one and we don't need to make a second, but you get the gist of it. Very, very simple.
Once the trays have gotten low, I bring the remainder of the sap into the house and I put it in a large, tall stock pot. And the goal is to get it to 219 degrees. Usually come in, it's about at 210, and it does take a while to get up to temperature. Monitor it closely because when it gets close to that 219, it will bubble up, and that's why you use a tall stock pot. I always use stainless steel and a candid thermometer. But if you don't have a candid thermometer, you can easily monitor when it's ready by the bubbles. They get larger as it gets hotter, and then when they start to bubble up at that 219 mark, you will definitely know it's ready. If you let it go too long, it will become candy hard, and you don't want to go past 220. So it's just a matter of trial and error, making sure that you're seeing it come up. And as you can see, the bubbles are starting to foam. And I keep showing you the temperatures so that you see that I am monitoring. But notice how the bubbles are starting to climb the pot, and they're getting higher and higher, and the pot's filling up with bubbles. That's because it is at the maple syrup stage. That is 219. Look at the bubbles climb. It's getting to the point where you almost can't read the thermometer. That means we are ready. At this point, shut off your heat. If you wish, you could let it cool down a bit so you can filter it, or you could just take it from this stage and put it in mason jars. This batch I am going to ladle directly into mason jars without filtering. I will show you the difference between a filtered product and non-filtered product. If you want a nice clear maple syrup, then filter it, but let it cool off a little bit first. So you can see, when it cools off, you have that sediment at the bottom. Now, I don't really care about this. Reason being, I keep my maple syrup in these mason jars, and then when we're ready to use it, I could at that point filter it into a bottle, which I keep in the fridge. So no sense in having to filter hot syrup and wait. So this is how we do it. We're not selling it, we don't care. But if you wanted to, once it cools a bit, you can filter it at that point and then bottle it up. And this is what it looks like when you filter your maple syrup. It's a choice. If you don't mind having sediment at the bottom, don't go through the extra steps. If you want a clear maple syrup, absolutely filter it. Either way, they're good. Neither of them are harmful. And enjoy the process. If you like this type of content, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends.